Hello, beautiful people. My name is Justin Taylor. You are here at Firestone Free Running, and today we are going to work on the cat position, which is why I have on the mask of a bunny, because it was recently Easter and I couldn't find my cat mask, and this was all I had, and I'm slipping down the wall, and I guess we're gonna do this thing. Go back.
So we're going to be working on the cat position, and the cat position is really cool because it's a very versatile and fundamental part of your parkour training. The cat position can be used to jump to a much further object than you would have been able to if you were doing your precision, your crane that we worked on 2 weeks ago, or your half cat that we saw last week. Sometimes a wall is way too tall and we can't wall pop up to our half cat. But we can use our wall pop and get into our hanging cat position, and from that hanging cat position, we can climb up into our half cat, up to our crane, up on top of the wall using our safety up. So we're going to use the cat position not only to jump to further objects than we ever could have with any of the skills we've learned so far, but also as a way to get up an object that is much taller than we can reach, and also to get back down from a very tall object as safely as possible. So let's get to it, shall we? Good morning, class. We are going to be introducing a new segment today. So in addition to going over our normal stuff today and breaking down all of our skills into the detailed parts of what allows the skill to happen and all of the training drills that we can do to get better and to get prepped for this skill, what we are going to be doing today is a 60-second breakdown of what the skill is and how it works very, very quickly. And then after our quick overview, we're going to be taking 5 to 10 minutes to break down each individual part and all of the detailed sections of the skill. So that way you can get your quick overview if you already know a lot, and you can always go back and look at the detailed section to get a much better fundamental understanding of how each different part of our skill breaks down and works. Let's begin, shall we? So, in 60 seconds or less, here we go. Put a clock on the wall, or a thing, I don't know, however that works. All right, so in our cat position, there's a lot of different ways we can do it. We're going to be talking about jumping to a wall to do our cat position. Whenever we jump to the wall, we want to remember a couple of things. One, feet first. Always feet first. We're going to be jumping with our chest up. We're going to be pulling our knees up in front of us and extending our feet towards the wall. We want our feet almost perpendicular to our body. We don't want our feet low or they will slip and we'll hit our knees. We don't want our feet too high or our legs will get in the way and we won't be able to grab the wall. When we hit the wall, we're going to be absorbing with our legs. Our hands are going to come forward, gripping the top of the wall right here. We want to make sure we're at roughly a 90-degree angle. If our face is too close with really bent arms, we're going to slam our face in the wall. If we're too far away like this, we're going to slip off. So remember, we're jumping feet first, toes, pad of our feet into the wall, absorb, chest up, hands hit second, absorbing in and bending. You can either stagger your feet so you have one above the other, which I like to do as a much larger person with larger legs, or you can bring both feet together, but you want to make sure when you do that you're careful because it's very easy to slip off the wall when you do. And that, my friends, is the cat position. No, I see what you did there, Catwoman for cat position. That's making me Catman. Okay. So, after that whirlwind of an explanation, what we are going to do is we are going to break down each individual part in great detail of our cat position and how we can utilize it, what the strengths and weaknesses are, and the biggest problems that generally occur and cause people to get injured so you don't have to go through that. So let's pretend that we are running or jumping to our cat position, as 90% of the time that is how we're getting into our cat position. We're flying through the air and we realize, holy crap, we're not going to make this precision, we're not going to make a crane, we're not even going to make a half cat and pull the top of this landing position right here into the center of our body. We are going to be hanging from this thing. It is very important, as we talked about earlier, to land feet first. Why do we land feet first? Well, there's two reasons. One, your legs are about 4 times as strong as your arms. I like to think I have pretty strong arms, but if I have to absorb my 200-pound fat booty, I want to be using my giant quads, not my biceps and triceps. They're much stronger. The other main reason is this. Let's pretend right now this is our wall that we're jumping to. If I jump to this wall, my natural instinct is to reach my hands up to grab it, number one, and number two, because when your arms are in front, it protects your chest and your face, or in this case, so you would think. If I jump and grab here, you'll notice my legs and body is still behind me. As I grab, the rest of my body still has to swing. All I'm doing is now swinging full force and slamming my face, my chest, And finally, and most importantly, my feet into that wall. Imagine swinging all the way in, boom, and kicking the tips of your toes into this wall. You are going to break all of your toes or start cracking your knuckles, and not in like the nice, fun way, in a very unhappy kind of way. This is why we jump with our feet first. We jump, our feet intercept the wall, absorb, slowing down our body, and as we come into the wall, then our hands will cap over the top to keep us from sliding and hanging down the wall. But this keeps us from swinging in and slamming our face, our chest and organs, and our toes and knees. This is basically how you protect yourself. You always want to think of your legs as giant shock absorbers. Just like on your car, when you go over the bump, you don't bottom out, you absorb slowly, and that is our goal here. Now let's talk about that real quick with our legs. So our legs are landing first. Okay, how exactly do I want my feet to intercept this wall? If I jump and my feet are really high up like this, as I try to grab this lip, you'll notice I can't even get myself there because right now, my knee and my thigh are stopping my chest and my arms from being able to lean forward enough to grab this edge. If I drop my foot down a little bit, I can now grab it. So when we're going through the air, we want our feet from a really big jump when we're coming with lots of force, we want our feet at about a horizontal position, almost like we're flying through the air in a pike position, but with our balls of our feet up, the ball of our foot up, so it can hit and absorb. We do not want to come in with a flat foot like this, or we're just going to be slamming our heel into the wall. When this also happens, now we're only using our ankle and our knee. When I use this, I've now got this mobility joint right here, this ability to bend right here at the pad of my foot. It just gives me one more thing with which I can bend and absorb my weight and force coming in. So if my feet are too high, we've realized the knee blocks our chest, can't get our hands on the wall. All you're then going to do from this position is hit the wall, fall flat on your back, and what am I going to do, class? I'm going to laugh at you because it's going to be funny. So if one of you do that while training, you should totally send me that video because I like a good giggle. Now, what happens if we're still landing feet first but our feet are too low? Well, if I jump and my feet are very low like this, a couple of things can happen. Number one, my foot hits and slips before I can grab that wall. When my foot's this low, there's very little I can do to absorb. In fact, the most likely thing that's going to happen is number one, because it's so low and my toes are so straight, my toes and the pad of my foot are going to be absorbing. They're going to hit that wall and they are going to hurt. It's going to suck. But most likely what's going to happen is that when your foot hits that wall, the only bit of absorption you can do is right here through your knee. And all I'm going to do is run, jump through the air, come with all that force, hurt my toes, bend to absorb, and slam my kneecap into the wall. You have now basically just jumped through the air with a lot of force to knee slam into a wall. I mean, if you're that dude from that movie Kickboxer back in the day, you could probably do that. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you should be ashamed with yourself, but it's okay, I still like you anyways. So, how do we find our happy medium here? That's right here at our horizontal position. From here, you can see every part of my foot. I can bend right here at the pad of my foot. I can bend right here at the ankle. I can bend right here at the knee. And I can bend right here at the hip. I've now got 4 different bending points which I can use to absorb the shock of me hitting this wall. Now, there's a couple of different things to keep in mind. If I'm coming from really far away, I think the biggest gap I've ever done for a cat position was like 13, 14 feet, something like that. I'm jumping with both legs straight and together because 2 legs absorbing simultaneously is much stronger than 1 leg. If I'm doing a normal cat, 8 or 10 feet or less, I like to stagger my feet. So actually, 1 foot will hit above the other and they will absorb simultaneously. But the nice thing about this is twofold. Number one, when your legs land together, it's much harder to get your hands up on top of an object as the knees come a little higher and they can block your chest like we learned earlier. You can slip off a little easier. The other thing is when you have much larger legs, especially thighs, or you can't bend as well in the middle, or perhaps you have a bit of a belly, okay? The higher up those legs are, better chance of slipping. If I come in right here and I jump with my feet staggered, 1 foot in front of the other, I can absorb a lot with this top foot, but because of this lower foot, if I bring this up here, you can see my arms straight and I want to slip off. When I'm here, it's much easier for me to pull my hips up a little higher. This also sets me up for a good position to drive my knee and climb up on top of my object. I highly recommend the stagger position unless you're doing an insanely big jump. But if you're just learning this thing, you're not going to be doing an insanely big jump unless you want to die, which I'm assuming you don't because you're watching videos to learn things, which means that you have a future, which means that you want to actually do stuff, which means I'm just still going on forever like it's the butterfly effect or something. Don't worry about it. Point being, stagger your feet. Okay, now that we've talked about that, let's talk about our arm position and our chest position for our upper body. So, when I'm flying through the air, a couple of important things. Number one, I want my chest up. We talk about core engagement, all these different skills. Why do I want my chest up? A couple of reasons. Let's pretend I'm jumping to this wall again. If my chest is down, number one, not only can I not lift my leg as high, which means I'm not going to get that nice absorption, I'm going to get that lower. Then I'm going to slam my face into the wall. Funny for you, bad for me. This is the money maker, all right? I need this thing for all of my non-existent modeling jobs. So, no chest down unless you want to headbutt the wall. If you're flying through the air, not cool. If you're a Pokemon, great attack. All right, chest up. Why chest up? Again, so we don't slam our face in the wall, but also for this reason. With my chest up, I can now bring my leg up to absorb, but also when my hands hit, I can bend and absorb. Even if I get a good connection with my legs hitting the wall, but my chest is kind of down, it makes it very hard from here. You can see my arms have straightened out and I'm barely holding on with the tips of my fingers. Now, if my chest is up, as I reach forward and grab the wall, I can bend my arms like I'm doing a tricep push-up or a military push-up, where you're pulling your triceps in towards your lats. And from here, now when I'm hanging on the wall, I'm not hanging with a straight arm where I'm just, none of my muscles are actively engaged and I'm just holding with my fingertips. From this position right here, I actually am using not only my fingers, but my biceps, my triceps, my lats, my shoulders, my chest, my back. All of these muscles are now working in unison to help hold me on this wall. If you come in with a lot of force, as you first start this, your fingers, unless you do a lot of rock climbing or a lot of bar work, are probably not that strong yet. They are not going to be able to hold your body weight, especially with a big shock as you hit the wall. So you want to use your other muscles to support those fingers in helping hold you to the wall. Now let's talk about that arm position. When I have a straight arm, there's a much better chance that I will slip down here and slam my face in the wall. Again, funny, but not what we're going for. We want roughly a 90-degree bend as we absorb. A couple reasons. My arms grab. I can absorb into about here. That gives me a good range of motion that I can use all of these muscle groups to absorb and slow down so my chest and face don't hit the wall. Remember, our legs have done most of the work here absorbing, so our arms only need to do a little bit there at the end. There's another reason. If I come in, as some people do in the beginning, with our arms up already here, as soon as they hit that wall, they're going to come in and I'm going to slam my face into the wall. It's a very common thing for people to slam their knees, their belly or their chest or their face in the wall when they begin. So we want to use our arms to absorb as well. We don't want those straight arms where it's all going to go down into our shoulders and rip us off the wall. But we don't want completely bent arms where I've got little to absorb with before I hit. I want to be coming in, bending and dropping into about a 90 and pulling down onto the top of the wall so I actively engage my upper body muscles in order to hang and hold on that wall. Once you're in your cat position, it's pretty cool. You can move around, you can climb up, you can climb down. You can, from this position, you can do your devil drops, angel drops, Buddha drops, all kinds of cool things, which we will get into in our more advanced curriculum later on. But as always, we want a strong, solid base and foundation to build up on before we start doing all of the crazy stuff. All right, guys, so one of the really cool things about the cat position is not only is it used for jumping, it's also used for when you want to get up a much higher object than you currently could just walk over and pull yourself into, say, a half cat or a crane or precision up. So here we have a 10-foot vertical wall. I'm going to use my wall pop, grabbing my cat position, and utilizing those will allow me to get up on top of something that I could not just jump to, say, a half cat or something in. So I come in, use my wall pop, I've grabbed the edge, and from here, I can pull myself into my cat position, which will allow me to mount the wall. Oh yeah, I mounted the wall. I'm very excited. I don't have a very good song for this time, but I'm using it anyways. Okay. Now that you got that beautiful thing out of the way, the cool thing is we can use this in the exact same reverse way. We learned a lot about our sit, half turn, half cat last week. From here though, I do not want to just drop down to the ground. That is going to hurt. So I can slide down into my cat position, and now I only need to drop another 2 feet to the ground. Much safer than the 8-foot drop it would have been from my half cat position. I can get up a much higher object and down from a much higher object using my, you guessed it, cat position. There's like, I wish I knew the Thundercat song by heart, because I think that would work really well here. No, this is the part where it... All right, beautiful people, the last part we're going to talk about in our cat position is really how to save ourselves with a cat position. Let's pretend that I have tried to do a precision jump to a nice high object, and unfortunately I'm a little bit shy. As we learned from 2 weeks ago, I go into my crane position to save myself. But what happens if when I do my crane, I'm a little too far leaned back and I can't actually land again on top? If I am now falling backwards off of an object, the last thing I want to do is fall backwards in this weird one-footed position and land and break my ankle. So we're going to pretend right here, I am in my crane position. Oh crap, I landed too far backwards. Whoop! I use my cat position to protect myself. So as I fall back on any bad landing on a wall like this, I then pop my butt back, bring my hands forward, grabbing the edge, stick my feet into that wall so they're sliding down that wall, using that friction to slow me down, and I pull myself into the wall. That keeps me from falling. If I'm 10, 12, 15 feet in the air, I do not want to fall backwards while leaning back on one foot. Like I said, a good recipe for a broken ankle. I've seen it before. So when in doubt, immediately drop to your cat position. It's a good practice if you find a nice low wall with some soft grass or perhaps sand underneath. You can practice. Start in my precision position or my crane or even a half cat. Lean backwards to feel yourself start to fall. Drop into your cat position. This is actually, out of all of them, I would say the most important one to practice, because although the cat is great for climbing up and down and all these different things, sooner or later you are going to miss a jump. You are going to slip. And when that happens, you only need to do it one time to screw yourself up mightily. So we want to make sure that we have practiced this as a safety position to protect ourselves. It's better to do this 100 times and never need to do it than to not practice it and have it down, and then the one time you need it, not be able to do it and to fall down and roll an ankle. Especially since this is going to be a thing when you fall from these things, it's usually your ankle that's going to take it. For those of you who do not know, all of your ankle bones are held together with ligaments. Unfortunate thing about ligaments is when you roll them over in your ankle, they stretch out. They do not ever tighten back up. Once you roll your ankle once, your ligaments are stretched out forever. They will not heal back the way they used to be, and it will make it much easier to make it a reoccurring injury. So protect yourself with your cat position. I'd like each of you to not only practice going out, jumping to a low wall and practicing your cat position with a good absorption. Remember, each time you can step back a little further, so you have a bigger jump. You can practice more absorption. Also using it for getting up and down an object, but practice this, what is also sometimes known as an abort. I landed, it didn't work, I abort, and I save myself with my cat position. All right, guys, we went over a lot of stuff today. Remember, big leg shock absorbers first at all times. Keep those arms bent so you keep your beautiful face from slamming into the wall. You can keep all those pristine teeth, even though I know those fake teeth look so pretty, but they're expensive, so let's stay away from that, shall we? Chest up, stagger the feet, make sure you're absorbing with the legs and the arms. All right, we've gone over a bunch of stuff. I love all your beautiful faces. Make sure to tune in next week. Make sure to tune in next week where we're going to be going over our climb up and our climb down, and that's where we're going to put together all of the wall skills we've learned so far. Our wall pop to our cat, how to climb up on top of an object. The main thing we're going to be going over is not only how to get up, but a lot of people are not strong enough to do a muscle up. I don't blame you. That is a difficult skill, especially if you've never practiced it. We're going to learn a little sneaky little cheater's method called our chicken wing. And that'll allow us to get up and down without having to do a muscle up. As always, my name is Justin Taylor. You're here at the beautiful and ever popular Firestorm Freerunning and Acrobatics. I love all of your beautiful faces, and hopefully I will see you next week. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and all of those other things that I'm probably forgetting, like Twitter.
I'm gonna
Meow.